Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Hope everyone is well. Today we're going to go over quite a big one. The differences between in-person PT and online coaching. Okay, so let's dive into it. So what's my story? I've been a qualified PT now for 10 years. My first job in the industry was as a fitness instructor at a 5-star hotel. So I was doing classes, PT, but also like spa attendant duties as well. So it was kind of a mixed match there, but you know, the main goal at that point was just to kind of get my foot in the door and to get experience as a PT. Okay, then after that I managed to get a job at one of the top universities in the UK. So I was able to PT in the gym there with the students and also members of the community as well. So I was doing this for quite a while, but it got to the point where I was feeling quite tired, burnt out, and I felt that like all the work I was putting in to help people was barely worth doing. Even though I'm really passionate about helping others, just the amount of money I was getting and how much it had me tied down. I was starting to kind of lose passion towards it quite quickly. So I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way. So around that time, when I decided to invest in a coach for my own physique development, this is kind of where I discovered the concept of online coaching. I just decided to take a leap, just to go for it and see how it was. I didn't know how it was going to be. All I knew was that I didn't need someone holding my hand in the gym. So I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to give it a go. And so when I hopped on board, I was really impressed at how efficient the service was. All the systems that were in place to keep me accountable without the coach even having to be there. The fact that I was getting all this support and not even having to meet in person for it to happen. Naturally, I am quite an introverted person, so to me, I thought this was absolutely brilliant. I could get everything done for me, my training, my nutrition, etc. I don't even need to meet the person. I just need to follow the guidelines, go to the gym, get the job done, eat my calories, and that's it. It was brilliant. So kind of all the decisions around reaching my goals were completely taken care of, and that meant I could focus on my work and other passions. So that's when it kind of clicked for me. I thought to myself, why am I doing this, putting in all these hours for little money when I could be an online coach, work from anywhere in the world, and help more people in the process, So I started investing in myself. I invested in courses from people that knew more than me. So then when I got people on board, I had the client dashboard all set up, everything. I knew how to do check-ins. I had an onboarding process. It was just running smoothly. Because I can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes when it comes to like doing the things in the best way possible. So I've always been the kind of person to, invest in myself. I don't have an ego. I just want the quickest way to the best way of doing something. So for me personally, this was an absolute game changer. I don't want to be in the gym 24/7 teaching beginners the basics. That's not really what I'm passionate about. My brain needs more than that. I wanted to help people who were already motivated and already consistently going to the gym. All I had to do was jump in there, install my knowledge into their life, aka the training plan, the nutrition plan, and kind of look at their situation from a bird's eye view and think, how are we going to get this person from this point to this point in the most efficient way possible? That's kind of what the kind of strategizing behind it, that's kind of what I was passionate about. But also, not only that, I want to experience life as well. I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live. So I know it's a very fulfilling job. You get to help a lot of people, and I am passionate about that. But at the same time, I do have dreams and ambitions, and a lot of them don't have anything to do with working. So You know, for me, this was perfect, and that's kind of how I got started as an online coach. And yeah, you know, not being tied down by the gym, not trading my time for money. So, you know, online was just for the best option for me personally, and I never looked back. So, a harsh truth for you is that if you're currently a PT and you're kind of half in, half out with both methods, you will never be successful at what you're doing. The reason why is because both are completely different business models and require completely different methods of management and scaling. So you're essentially working two different jobs, right? You know, if one was going great for you, which for the most part it's not, that's why people are dipping their toes in different things, why would you want to compromise that success by not fully committing to the thing that's doing well for you? You know, why not double down on the thing that serves you the best? So basically, in today's video, I'm just going to run you through both models, the pros and cons, so you can gain a clear picture of which is actually best suited to the kind of lifestyle that you desire and that you want to live. Okay? Life is too short. You know, your dream life could be right round the corner, but you aren't 100% committed to doing something scalable that will actually get you there, right? So, who is this video for? Basically, personal trainers who want to become online coaches but haven't fully committed yet. Personal trainers who are tired and burnt out, but they're scared to make the necessary change. Personal trainers who are trying to juggle both, but they don't even realize that doing so is holding them back. You know, PTs who want to make 5 to 20k a month or more than that, but are not quite sure which is the best route or how to go about it. And also, beginners will benefit, but you know, I would still recommend doing some in-person PT just to build the experience, but most importantly, the results. You know, I'm not one of these people who think if you're a beginner, you have to do in-person PT, because the thing is, in-person and online are two completely different things. And to be a good online coach, you just have to be able to get someone from A to B. You just have to keep them accountable, but you also have to know the theory and the mechanisms that get them there. So the reason I recommend it the most is more down to the results side of things. Because if you try and jump into online coaching with no results and no social proof, you're going to have a really hard time getting clients. So it's good to build up a bit of a portfolio, you know, some transformations, some results. That way, when you convert, when you go online, you've got these ready to go that you can, you know, use in your marketing strategy. So we'll go over in-person PT first. So here's a financial example of in-person, right? So the common way of operating is charging per hour. And let's say you do 25 hours per week. That's of actual training. You're training the people for 25 hours, okay? This is going to earn you around $6,000, probably about 4,500 if you're in the UK. But this doesn't include the free consultations, you traveling to the gym, perhaps time in between sessions, because it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to have them back to back, one after the other. There are going to be times naturally where you're going to have breaks in between. So let's say you're traveling, I don't know, 20-30 minutes to work, and you've got 1 to 2 hours between your PT sessions. Is it really worth your time to go home and then come back for that session? No, you're probably going to stick around, but at the end of the day, that's time that's keeping you from doing the things that you want to be doing. Okay? So, what are the positives of in-person PT? Okay? Usually easier to pick up clients when you're first starting out. if you've just got your qualification, you'll most likely get a job with a commercial gym in most cases who already have a client database, and they'll help you get clients. So, and also because you're on the gym floor, naturally you're going to be talking to people and you can pick up clients that way. But these days, usually commercial gyms will partner up with the companies that give the qualification, and they'll have schemes in place to kind of train you up and ensure you're confident, make sure you've got clients. So yeah, when you're online, you're kind of completely on your own with that one. Another one is being able to build stronger relationships with your clients, potentially. This can also result in, longer client retention. You'll probably get people who kind of stay with you for years. When you build up that kind of relationship with them, some people, when it comes to in-person, like a lot of the time, it's not because the person needs you there holding their hand to reach their goal. It's because they come for the in-person connection. They want to have that social experience with someone. So it's not all about the training sometimes. And as I said before, you'll get support from the gym usually, and also colleagues as well. You'll be surrounded by people who have probably been doing it longer than you, so you can make friends and get advice for them, etc. So that kind of ties in more of a social environment. So these things are all great for someone who's just got their qualification and they're just trying to build up confidence and experience. It's perfect. So you can do this for 6 months, a year, longer, and yeah, it's a great way to start. So what are the negatives of in-person PT? So, lifestyle. You're obviously kind of tied down by local pricing. So, when you're charging by the hour, you only have 1 hour of deliverables to separate you from other people doing the same thing. So you're kind of tied down by market pricing and the demographic and the location. Because you can't really separate yourself. So it does come down to just the fact that, it's a PT session. There's not really going to be anything two ways about that. And it's going to be tied down by the location as well. Like if you're in London or like New York or something, obviously the prices are going to be a lot higher than someone, a PT that's kind of maybe out the way, not in like a busy city. So it doesn't really give you the opportunity to charge a premium price, unless that's kind of in line with like the place where you are. Another thing is you're essentially trading your time for money. You've only got so much time in the day to trade, and the more you trade, the less time you're going to get with family, friends, like doing things you're passionate about. So it gets to a point where you cross a line and the money you're making doesn't actually make it worthwhile to trade more time. So those are the main lifestyle downsides. When it comes to the work itself, obviously you've got to do the consultations. They might take like 30 minutes. You're sat down with them for 30 minutes, and this is free. Like, you're not charging for consultations. So you've got to account for this in your day. Another thing is gym rent. You'll have to usually pay rent to the gym that you're training out of. Unless you're doing sort of voluntary hours for them or classes, which, that's going to take up more of your time. Or you can just pay an upfront fee as rent for the whole month. That's another option if you're already, doing quite well. So kind of gym working hours, as I said before, so you might be doing classes or you might be doing cleaning, stuff like that, manning reception. You've got to you've got to account for the traveling to the gym and back home, and time between sessions as well. So how can you scale if you're only doing in-person PT? Well, if you look at pricing, you can't really scale unless you're really experienced and you're really well known in the area. Then you can justify upping your price, but you're not going to be able to up your prices by that much that's actually going to make a significant difference. As I said before, you can't really add much more value to a 1 hour session than anyone else. It's just a standard expectation of what they're going to get. Volume, can you increase the amount of sessions clients? You can do that, but it's going to be eating into your free time and your family time and your other passions and whatnot. Group PT, can you fit in time to arrange group sessions? Now, I'll be honest, this is one way you can actually do, and you can scale in-person PT pretty well, is by doing like boot camps, anything like that really, because it's more leverage, okay? You're able to charge more people, more times for the same thing. So whether you've got 5 people in front of you or 50 people in front of you, you're still doing the same thing, and it's the same amount of time. So if you're the kind of person who likes doing classes, I would highly recommend you go down this route if you want to scale your PT business. Another one is, gym space. So you could hire out, you could buy your own gym, even just like a little studio space, and you can rent this out to other PTs, and you could also have a membership as well. However, this is kind of dipping more into the gym owner kind of business model, which is its own thing in itself. But if you're just a PT and you have your own studio, then you could potentially rent that space out to other PTs. Okay? So let's go on to online coaching now. So here's a financial example for online coaching. So let's say because with online coaching, right, you're better leveraging your time and your value by charging for the outcome. So you can look at most of your clients and say, what do most people want? Okay, they want to lose this amount of weight. So how long on average does that roughly take? How much time are people going to have to commit if they really want this result? And it's going to be 3 to 6 months usually. So let's just say you have a 3-month program, which is 1,497, and then you could even offer. So this incentivizes people paying up front, and it means you collect more of the customer lifetime value up front as well. So it means you're getting more cash flow, which allows you to invest in other parts of the business. And then from there, for long-term clients, you can have a monthly fee. But anyone starting out new, they need to commit to this 3-month program. And that's, it's going to iron out people who aren't genuinely committed to reaching their goal. Because if they are committed, paying an upfront for the outcome shouldn't be a problem. But then you'll have some long-term clients. So let's say just $297 monthly recurring revenue for the people who want to stay on board with you. So let's say you're working 2 hours per month per client, so 8 hours per week, okay? And you take on 5 new clients, and you have 10 existing clients who are long term. This is how you're reaching 10k a month, okay? And onboarding 5 new clients really isn't that difficult whatsoever. If you've got your online presence and your profiles optimized, and you've got marketing strategies in place, and you're talking to people on a daily basis, you'll be surprised how easy this becomes. Okay, obviously you're not going to get there in the first few months, but if you stick at online coaching and you're always looking to improve, you will get there, no doubt. So what are the positives? Obviously much more scalable, because you're not trading your time for money, you're trading your value for money. You're trading your ability to get someone from A to B. So, and depending on how niche you are, you know, you've kind of got the ability to charge as much as you want, really. Okay, so another thing is you can outsource tasks that you don't enjoy, you know, whereas with online PT, in person, sorry, you're physically there with the person for that 1 hour. You can't outsource that. That doesn't include, like, even if you're outside of PT and people, if you're doing sort of marketing things, programming and all that stuff, you know, most of that you kind of need to do yourself as well. But with online, you know, you've got like content, things like that, you know, so you can outsource quite a lot of things. You know, when you kind of scale up quite high, you can even outsource chatting to people in the DMs. You know, you can hire an appointment setter. Most people hire an editor first for content, then appointment setter, then you can even get a closer, and you can completely remove yourself, so you're only focusing on your clients. So you've got the ability to help more people. I think that's one of the best parts, to be honest. Like, if you're truly passionate about helping others, then you'll find systems and ways to help more people, you know? Obviously you'll have more time because you're doing things in an efficient and scalable way, which, you know, you shouldn't really be working any more than 15 to 20 hours a week on your business. If you are doing things in a way that's actually genuinely efficient, then it doesn't take that long to post content, talk to people, make programs, and do coaching calls. That's all it really comes down to. Obviously you've got location freedom as well, so if you're the kind of person who likes traveling, you could be abroad traveling, you know, Thailand, Bali, and, you know, you're just working from your laptop, just a few hours a day, checking in, doing check-ins, making some content, and then doing whatever the hell you want for the rest of the day. And obviously the last one is that you've got access to a global database of people who are a good fit for your program. So you really can niche down and work with dream clients, and you've got access to Instagram, for example, has 1 billion monthly users. You know, that's crazy. So whether they're in the UK, USA, France, you know, Thailand, if they're suitable and they align with your messaging and what you offer, then you can be helping people from all over the world. You don't have to be tied down by a, you know, a 30-mile radius, you know. So what are the negatives? You need to create content. You know, not everyone enjoys creating content, which is fair enough. That's why I suggested you can outsource it. You know, but this, if you've got systems in place, if you've got templates, if you've got a certain way of doing things that is efficient, you shouldn't really be spending any more than like 2 to 3 hours per week on content, to be honest. Client acquisition is more hands-on. So, you know, you are kind of going out there, pursuing clients, going to get them. So you're posting content, you're reeling in clients, you're having conversations with them, you're having sales calls with them, and you're converting them to clients, and it's quite a manual process. Obviously you can have systems in place to make this as automated as possible, but to be fair, if you like speaking to people and diagnosing people's problems and finding solutions for them, then, you know, it shouldn't really be a problem. Personally, I quite enjoy this part of the business. I enjoy speaking with new people, seeing what their problems are, and seeing if there's ways I can help them. Another negative is the fact that, technique and exercise form could unknowingly slip. So it's important that you regularly request form videos from your clients, just to make sure that their tempo is good, that their form is good, things like that, range of motion. So, because it's quite easy for people to lose focus, or they go into kind of this autopilot mode. Form slowly starts to slip if they're not really conscious about it at all times. So it's just about making sure that you're assessing that their form's good on a regular basis, because obviously you're not there to kind of reinforce that. But as long as you can even have like a library of exercises. This is like a long term play, but you can have an exercise library created, where you show the exercise in great detail, and then you can just send it to new clients, and then they've got that with them that they can refer to at any time. And the last thing is, it's harder to coach if the client is a complete beginner. So if you're an online coach, you shouldn't really be advocating for someone who's a complete beginner to be your client, if I'm completely honest. Clients who have already got a foundation are, they're going to be easier to work with. They're going to be more motivated because they're probably already ingrained in the kind of gym lifestyle. So before you even onboarded them, they were probably already going to the gym. So you don't need to worry about things like that. They're just kind of looking for you to be a problem solver. How are you getting them from A to B? Not like you don't need to chase them up to, be actually getting in the gym. So personally, that's why I prefer online coaching, is because you can completely cut out the beginners. You don't need to worry. You don't need to work with them if you don't want to. So online coaching, ways to scale. So here's some kind of ways when you get to 10k, how you can go to 50k. But some of these things, you can do before 10k. Naturally, so unlike in person, your capacity is much higher, and as your social media presence grows, you will naturally gain more attention, and then obviously clients will come with that as well. Unlike in person, where you'll find that your calendar becomes booked very quickly. This is why it's really important as an online coach to be really consistent with content, because effort compounds over time, just like money. So if you're posting every single day and you're talking to people, as your followers grow, you'll be talking to more people, and naturally you'll be taking on more clients. Okay, so it scales naturally just by you doing the thing. Whereas with in person, you'll get to the point where your calendar's fully booked, and then because you're so busy with clients, your brain doesn't even go to how can I scale this. You just kind of accept that this is where you're going to be at for a long period of time. You're probably fairly happy with the income. So it's just not really something that you think about. So another way you can scale is by building a team. So people will usually go for the editor first, an appointment setter, someone who you can kind of install into your DMs, who takes them from engaging with you to then sales call. So you can completely delegate the middle of the funnel there. Because you'll get a lot of people, you'll be having a lot of conversations, especially if you're at kind of like the 10k mark. That's when I recommend most people hire an appointment setter. Because if you want to be focusing on your clients, you don't want to be having a lot of random conversations with people a lot of them might not even be, really that interested. So it's just about kind of pre-qualifying them, and getting them onto the sales call. And when they're on the sales call, that's usually people who are genuinely interested in coaching. Another one is, a client success manager. If you're working with like 50 clients, then you can hire someone for a small fee per month, just to kind of be either doing like check-ins or just someone there that they can ask questions to. So that kind of means that you're focusing on the things like the group calls, the check-ins and stuff, and you've just got that person there in the group who they can ask questions to at any time. And it just makes your life a lot easier. You've kind of got that person by your side who can kind of deal with clients. Paid ads is another route you can go down. I personally think that you need to have a solid organic marketing foundation first. You need a lot of good content, and you need a lot of social proof before ads become a really good return on investment. Because if you're paying for people to come to your profile, but then that's as far as it goes, then you're just wasting money. Your messaging needs to be clear, very, very clear and specific. If you're just putting out an ad that says you help anyone lose fat, gain muscle, get stronger, like, that's not going to talk to people. When you're putting ads out there, you need to like speak to their soul. They need to be so dialed in. The messaging needs to be so clear, and that's how ads do good. Ads do really well when like the messaging is clear as hell, and it talks to people's souls, and that gets them on your profile, and it gets them following you. So there's definitely ads definitely have a place for sure. It's like, especially going from like, if you want to go from like 10 to 50k, then obviously ads are a must. It's just something I wouldn't advise doing early, because you don't want to rely on ads. It's better to have good systems in place, good processes, and do it organically at the start. Another thing is your kind of going back to what I said about systems, there is like the process between the person following you and being onboarded as a client. That's quite a few different steps. So all these steps need to be really finely tuned, and they need to be working really well. Another thing is pricing. So because you're not tied down by local pricing, and your offer is probably a lot more unique, and so as you gain a lot of social proof, you can justify increases of 500 to 1,000 at a time, because if the demand is there and you've got the capability to take on more people, you could even work with the same amount of people or less people, but because you've raised your prices, now you're making more money, but you've got a reduced workload as well. So there's so many benefits from pricing. You'll be surprised at how many people, like, how little it affects how many people you bring on board. Because when you have a higher pricing and you've got a lot of social proof, it just looks like your service is more valuable. So it's like there's a lot of psychology there. More people will want your service who can afford it if the price is higher. Another thing is owning your audience. So if you want to make this jump, you'll be looking at definitely building an email list that you can nurture people over time, and probably some sort of free community that you can build over time as well. An email list especially, because no one can take this away from you. This is data that you will always have. Because say your like Instagram got banned or something, you would lose all them followers. But if you've got an email list, you've got that forever. No one can take that away from you. So it's definitely good to be building this sort of thing over time if you're looking to scale to these numbers. So, take the leap. Do you want a predictable and scalable way of growing your business? Because we've got a proven 4-step system to help personal trainers like yourself transition fully online. Remove the stress and uncertainty of doing it yourself by working with us directly one-to-one. Right now we're working very closely with clients to build their businesses because we are working with a small amount of people and we want to get them really amazing results. So right now it's very close-knit. We're doing coaching calls and we're working directly with people. So if you want the chance to work with us, book a call through the link in the description and we'll have a chat. See you later, guys. Thank you.